Hey, all my fellow nerds, it's Brad from the Northern Nerdcast. Just wanted to let you know that on today's episode, Clayton and I will be talking with Svenny McGee about what went wrong with the Wii U. Some might even say it was more of a failure than the Virtual Boy. I highly doubt that, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we will get to the bottom of what made this system so bad. All right, so we are going to address the elephant in the room. Clayton.
Yes.
So this is a fun subject because I don't think the lifespan of the Wii U is very long, but like, why was it such a commercial failure? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, again, Clayton's with me, and we've brought Adam back because Adam has an extensive knowledge about the Wii U. I'm just going to give my opinion first because it's my show. Uh, I think one of the main issues with the Wii U is that tablet controller. Like that thing, like it was bad, and replacing one of those things was you might as well you're better off buying a whole new system.
Yeah.
So, like, and not to mention you could only use one tablet for the system. Like I think a lot of people originally expected that four people were going to be able to play Mario Kart each on their own tablet. It's like, no, you only get one, and you can only link one to the system, and everybody else has to use the Wii U controller or the Wii controllers. So discuss.
Yeah. I would agree about I would totally agree about the controller issue. It's not just the fact that the controller was um, expensive to repair. I mean, I still have the bubble wrap that mine came in. I bought a refurbished one from EB years ago. I got a really good deal on it. Um, but the bubble wrap that it came in, I still have it because I am so deathly afraid of breaking that screen or screwing up that controller. But the thing is that it's this for me, not like 99% of the reason that I don't play that system is because the ergonomics of that controller are just you have to sit it on your lap like a keyboard, but then you have to be able to like reach underneath it to use the triggers and use the thumbstick so your hands are cocked, right? And even if you hold it up, I don't know, it's something about how wide it is just feels wrong, I guess. I don't know. I honestly, like, the most time I spent with the system was when I got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Wii U, and I would only use the standard Wii U controller in the dungeons because it had the accelerometer built into the controller so you could tilt the labyrinths and stuff. Is your coffee, is it hot?
It's cooling down. I won a reusable mug.
Very nice.
Every
um
winner.
yeah, anyways, the ergonomics just made it very, I don't know, unfriendly for me to play. And a lot of people complain that there's a lot of controllers out there that are too small for them. You know, some people complain that they're too big. This one here was just too wide
Yeah.
because the Classic Pro or whatever it's called for the Wii U is an excellent controller. It's awesome. I used it all the time. It's got a micro USB charge port on it. You don't have to have batteries, which already puts it ahead of the stock standard Xbox One controller, right? And that's not a jab. That just it is what it is, right? You could plug it in and it was a good controller. It was light and the one that came out of the box was just so unusable that I had no choice but to go and get that pro controller. So that was a major strike for me.
I understand what everyone's saying with the tablet. There's certainly some drawbacks to it. Um, for for credentials, see myself, the Wii U is one of like probably my top three favorite consoles of all time. I absolutely love it, but I wholeheartedly, the whole point of this is it was a failure, and it was. There's no
Yeah,
way you can skirt that. Here was the deluxe edition. You can hear some of the
nice.
components rattling around,
Something
but I
broke.
had
Oh no.
oh, the screen, and
Nintendo
then
rattle, yeah.
later on got this was the Mario Kart one,
8
and
Deluxe,
one of
yeah.
the most sought, seemingly by collectors, would be the Nintendo Legend of Zelda one. This was one of
Yeah.
the, for all their other makes, models, and everything, this was the only one that they made like a special. And
Mhm.
literally, it was just putting this little bit of symbolism on the tablet itself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that
Because I
was it.
have the black one too.
Yeah,
Like it's
like
black.
the black base console is, there's nothing on the console.
Yeah.
And what you did was you had the game downloaded, and you had that Hyrule Compendium basically
Hmm.
book on there. But this was it, literally just like this little bit of paint here. And I
Yeah.
can tell you mine is actually pretty scuffed up. In fact, I bought this used off somebody, and right out of the get-go, it was known at the time of the sale the screen was cracked. So
Ah.
so I'm still gonna probably one day make a video, do a little replacement screen, buy one
Pull it
off
apart.
Amazon
Yeah.
or something, get in there and do it. However, I can confirm I bought this probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I paid $30, and it was
Oh
So it's
yeah.
still a
complete like this.
Nice.
steal. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It was still definitely something to run away with. It was then, however, it was when I really found out how tied and tethered the machine is to the tablet. And there's good portions of things you cannot actually access unless you're able to use the touchscreen and
Yeah.
navigate through. And
Yeah.
that's when I found, like, wow, the system actually is crippled if you do not have a working thing. I thought
Yeah.
I can get by with like a pro controller or using the Wiimotes to swap the menus and get through, but literally you sometimes you're just at a complete stoppage where you actually
Yeah.
need to select items and you can't, and that is definitely an issue. Like, what other system is tied to, like, oh,
Well,
you,
half the system is in the controller. So
yeah,
yeah,
you're
that's
like, ah.
exactly. And
that's
and that's
exactly it.
where Nintendo loses a lot of people, but at the same time it's really smart because they're like, oh, you broke your tablet, well, we can fix that, but you have to send it in, and
Yeah.
then you're basically sitting on a brick system until we send you that back, and it's not even guaranteed that it's going to work when it comes back like it used to.
Yeah.
and
That's
and
right.
I and like, not trying to get off topic, but it almost seems like they took everything that was wrong about the Wii U and put it into the Switch with the Joy-Con drift, because my tablet upstairs, I've noticed when I'm playing Mario Kart with the kids, I use a tablet because it's too big for them. But when I'm using the gyrosphere and all that stuff, I've noticed as I've been using it more and more that it starts to like lag, and there's just something loose in the tablet itself that's not connecting with the actual system, and it causes it to kind of go wonky.
Are you talking about
And
the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 or
yes,
the Oh yeah?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have both, but I mean,
Yeah, I've got
they really like the Wii U version over the Switch version, because
yeah. Eh?
talking about kids say, or people saying stuff is too small. Playing Mario Kart like this is not
Yeah.
playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tiny little controller.
Not
So
unless it's a Super Nintendo Mini.
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, it's just that's what I've noticed that's been going on with my Wii U. Now, I very rarely do I ever use it because I want to say a good 60% of the games that were on Wii U have already been ported to the Switch.
Yeah.
So if I want something that, like, I'm not going to get a tablet to play on. Actually, that's one thing that I think that Nintendo did right for this, was it was almost like, let's just, we'll go back a little bit. Nintendo seemed like almost like Sony was with the Vita. They did not seem like they supported this system after a while. Like, it just all of a
No.
sudden their focus was on the 3DS. That was their thing. Like, it's the handheld. It's the first real 3D. Not talking about your Virtual Boy that's behind you, that was probably a bigger failure than the Wii U, in my opinion. But you had this handheld thing, and it was amazing. And it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
seems like it just seems like, and that was the reversal for Sony. Sony was all about PS2, PS3, PS4. They came out with handhelds, didn't sell like they had expected, and they just dropped all the support. And I mean, maybe that's why the Wii U library is only, what, Adam, 128 games.
Yeah.
I'm not sure offhand, but yeah, it's not
It's low.
vast. And the thing was, again, it was the third party support too, trying to get people to agree to make things integrating the tablet, and
Yeah.
very quickly they fell off. Ubisoft's always been really good with supporting Nintendo, and I mean, for that reason, I think that's why we even got things like on the Switch. I think that's why we got things like the Mario
Yeah,
Rabbids. It was one of like the another first time they really crossed over with another company, let them use their first party characters, and even take the liberties of making Rabbids and turning them into these things. Um, Again, because Ubisoft really stayed on board, they ported in the Assassin's Creeds. They had that Zombie U was one of kind of the launch titles.
yeah,
So there was good, strong support there. Everyone else, like there's, I think Madden '08, and then it's just gone. Like there's no more EA support really,
Yeah.
and everybody just kind of petered out. So really, um, I know what you mean. Like Nintendo, I don't feel Nintendo abandoned. I'm not saying it's incorrect, but I don't think they abandoned it as strongly as Sony abandoned the Vita.
yeah.
Really,
No,
really
that
because
thing
like,
was dead on arrival, man. Like,
well,
wow.
exactly. Well, yeah, but I mean, the thing was like Nintendo, like they were throwing things at it. Like you got the Star Fox, but it came with the two games built
Yeah,
in.
the tower defense game.
They went and actually reported Legend of Zelda,
Yeah, I
Twilight
have that one too.
Princess. Then they went
Ah,
ahead.
you took your amiibo out.
Oh, I
This,
have I have a literal chest, and they're all stripped. There's very few that I have. Like I just haven't taken Bowser
Yeah.
Jr. out, but upstairs, like I have like the big oversized Yoshi kicking
I
uh,
around.
got
well,
I got mine here somewhere. I did not take the amiibo out of the box. I never opened it.
See,
and
Um,
what, but
I was one of the early adopters right away. Like when
it's there
basically
somewhere.
when Smash came out on there, and this was kind of one of the ones I was actually like right before this. Um, Gerard the Completionist just did a video released today on Smash for Wii U, and he was talking about basically how the Wii U was a struggling console, and this was one
Mhm.
of the first times Smash actually was a console mover because it really didn't push the Wii. Like the Wii did awesome. The GameCube was doing all right at the time, and the Nintendo 64, no one knew what Smash was when it came out. So this was one of the first time it actually was a console mover. And in order to make good with the fans, they actually, if you guys recall, they actually had the adapter, the GameCube or
yeah,
GameCube
Yeah.
adapter. And so I picked this one up on day one, and I went into my EB Games, and those amiibos were out. So I don't believe at the time I had to pre-order. They were just kind of there, and no one knew at the time how scarce they would quickly become.
Yeah.
So I just was like,
Grab it.
yeah, okay, I'll take. And I literally had like a garbage bag of amiibos walking out with this guy, and I just like, all right. And then because of that, like I have like Wii Fit Trainer, Ike, like all the first editions, because I just like I said, just loaded them all. Like keep them coming, boys. They work with this. Okay, we'll try it out. And like I said, you know, eventually even got like We Fit You again, We Fit, but it came with the somewhere here I had the little um the meter that you could actually
Oh
wear. It was a
yeah, the
pedometer, but it
accelerometer. Yeah,
yeah,
pedometer. Yeah.
and it actually integrated with the system. So they tried to do a lot of stuff. Like even I mean this isn't anything fancy, but this Sing Party was kind of, if you guys ever tried this, was a really silly karaoke game, but you actually, because you can hold the tablet, you can actually like march around the room holding the mic, like saying how you doing, like
Yeah.
like you didn't have to
Yeah.
actually look on the screen. You could like they
Let's take a
tr-
$300 tablet and dance around with it with one hand while we hold a mic in the other.
that's right, that's right. Let me get a couple drinks in first. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes.
exactly. War
Yeah, and that
comes with a warranty card booklet.
yeah, and that's a again like even this one tanked pretty quick, the Amiibo Festival,
Festival, yeah.
and then of course Mario Party 10. But
yeah.
there was a lot of good there. One of the
There's
There
lots
things
of good
was
first party
absolutely
stuff.
one
one.
of the
One.
thing
Go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead, Brett.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, just earlier you had mentioned if the tablet goes, your system bricks, and that reminded me that was a huge thing at the beginning of the console too. Keep in mind when things came out, you didn't have to plug in and update your GameCube, your Nintendo Wii
Yeah.
even, or your Xbox 360 at launch, things like that. The Wii U had a day one launch, and there was huge amount of people filing in and saying their systems are bricking because I think it was well over an hour. Didn't matter really what your internet speed was. It took a lot over an hour for most people, and a lot of people are just like, there must be something wrong, Sam. Just go ahead and unplug it, and then your
Yeah,
system's down. So
done.
that was a
Yeah.
huge problem for a lot of people. And of course, the returns and the refunds right out the gate. So it kind of started the whole thing.
Mhm.
And go ahead, Brad.
Oh no, I was gonna say one of the reasons that I ended up buying a Wii U, um, and I think it's one of the only games that actually made full use of the entire tablet. And I showed it earlier, but is Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew
No,
you were gonna
and
say that
the reason being is, and I mean, I
because
love
you
the
can
whole
play it
series.
on the tablet.
Well, you exactly. You can play it on the tablet, and I tried that out, and that's why I think when they went the Switch way, they were like, well, instead of having two systems, let's
Yeah,
just do one. But like Xenoblade Chronicles X makes use of the entire tablet, like, and not
yeah,
just in the sense taking it portable, but everything's on your screen. All
yeah.
your weapons are itemized on it, and it was so well done. And
The only gripe about that, and I hate to cut you off
no,
though,
no,
is that I tried to play it on just the remote screen. The text on that game is
it's so small.
ridiculously small.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's small when you're looking at it on a say 50-inch TV. You translate that down to what, a 3-inch
8 inch.
screen there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck, man. I'm like right at the screen, like, oh man, like it's awesome to see the whole game translated onto the tablet, but at the
Yeah.
same time,
And
holy man, I cannot read this.
there's rumors that, well, I mean, I think it's more than rumors now, but with Xenoblade Chronicles 1 getting like a remaster on the Switch, apparently X is supposed to be coming. And like for me with X, like my main thing was it's an MMO without being an MMO. And again, it's getting off the topic of the reason that the Wii U was a failure. Like not a failure in that sense, but like compared to how everything else sold. But it's just there was no story, so I never really put a lot of time into it. So with it coming to the Switch, whenever that happens, I'll probably put more time into it. I also didn't like the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. I thought it was like PS2 graphics. It was very dated. And then
I've been
once,
playing it on and off on the 3DS,
yeah,
and I gotta be honest with you. I feel like I've outgrown JRPGs. I try, but I most of the time I play JRPGs for the story. That game does have a pretty awesome
it
like a
does.
battle system and everything, and you're um but it is hard to get into, and it's hard because now when they put it out on the 3DS, they actually downgraded the graphics, right, to fit onto the 3DS. And so you're taking those original Wii graphics and you're walking them backwards by,
Yeah.
a couple of years. So even though it's smaller, it's still harder to play, but it is a pretty charming game, I guess.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't Shulk
mm,
is likable.
anyways, so I maybe it's just me, but like I didn't notice a lot of like accessories, if you will. Like, yes, amiibos are accessories, but I'm talking about like how PlayStation had the PlayStation Eye and like all these things. Were there actual like, and this is something I am totally new to because, like I said, I got into the Wii U about a year after it launched. And I only got it for one reason, which was Xenoblade, and then I ended up picking up a bunch of other games. But Adam, Clayton too, were there actual accessories that like?
The only one I ever bought was the Pro controller, which was basically looked like an Xbox 360 controller at the time. It had almost the same layout. The sticks were a little bit wider. It felt a little bit funny in your hands, but after you spent like an hour or two with it, um, it was a good solid controller. It lasts a long time too, like those built-in batteries. And this is one thing I got to say, like, good thing for the Wii U, that as far as Microsoft keeps on putting battery packs into their or batteries into their controllers, I am so glad that the Wii U actually had a rechargeable battery pack inside of the tablet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because oh my god. And actually the amount of time that tablet lasted um, on a full charge was pretty admirable. I don't recall ever having a problem with the thing like always being dead, the red light always flashing kind of thing. So that
Yeah.
was good. But that Pro controller is the only accessory that I ever saw. And I've got like from the generation before with the Wii, they had accessories for everything. They had fishing rods and guns and shotguns and this
Yeah.
and that, right? I never saw anything for the Wii U that I can recall.
Well, like you guys touched on, so of course there was the Pro controller, like, and you'd mentioned like the battery pack of the thing. So of course there was like a battery pack extension you could put on your tablet itself. It would just clip on the back, and you can basically double it. Usually, I think the tablets had about a 4-hour lifespan, 4 to 5 hours. So you could, I think, get that up to like 7 or 8 hours if you had that extension on it.
Mhm.
Like I said, Sing Party here came with a microphone.
Microphone. Yeah.
So there was something there. Now you mentioned like the iToy. The tablet itself has that camera built into it.
Yeah.
So on certain games like Zombie U, you could actually take your picture and it would play as your character. So when that character died, you don't get to be that character anymore. They are dead. They're a zombie now. So
Oh,
now
that's creepy.
you'd make an yeah, it was really bizarre. That was kind of like a shock factor. But the thing was, by doing so, you now play as a new person. You can find yourself and see like that
Your
character,
face
and you can go and
plastered
like
on it.
kill them and take your stuff back and get your gear. But it was one of the things you could like pass around the tablet and zombify people
Your
by like
friends,
taking the
yeah.
pictures. And
That's
I
cool.
know even like just with the family, like the kids love it, was starting with I think Just Dance 2017. If you put the tablet down and play the game, it'll record you in segments. Every once in a while, you'll see it flash by and just say record. So then at the end of the song, when everybody's points have accumulated, it'll just do these quick little rewind like shots where everybody's dancing. So of course, like the kids love seeing it. The wife has a laugh. Everybody has a good time. So that was one of the things they didn't really need to have like an iToy or something, because again, it was supposed to be integrated. Even at the beginning, that tablet, if you recall, that has a little TV button on there. They wanted you. Everybody thought consoles were going to become home full entertainment systems, and
Yeah.
everybody was going that way. So Nintendo, they actually thought you would program it and then control your television channels and stuff using this tablet. Or even at a time, if you were watching, they wanted to get NFL on board, you could actually see, like, look at the tablet and see like an image of the field and show like where the ball is on the field while they're
Oh,
playing,
yeah.
and then like the next down, okay, they're 30 yards out. So all these things that just and whisked away. um yeah, like I said, they had the the balance board was already established, but they had the pedometer. um
I
Got
just
that up
found it.
there.
I was looking for it. Still factory sealed.
oh, there it is.
Right
uh
down there.
yeah, I know I have the pedometer around, but anyways, yeah, so like some of those items there, but yeah, there wasn't really a lot of excess material for it. And again, a lot of that starts to come from third parties. Like you can get into like your Skylanders and your Disney Infinities
Mhm.
and your
Yeah,
Amiibos and
there's
all.
another one that really kind of went the way of the dodo.
Yeah.
Skylanders, and then what was the other one? Starlink Arena,
Starlink on the Switch, but then there was
Disney
also
Infinity, Disney
there was
Infinity.
Disney Infinity, Lego Dimensions,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Even
That for a while when it's funny because it seems like when the economy was good, everybody was into buying all the collectible. Skylanders was around for a while,
oh
long
yeah.
time.
and then
Long time.
once everything kind of crashed out there, all that stuff disappeared. But Nintendo traditionally has always been good for supporting their own hardware in the best way possible, Like they always find the most interesting ways to, like the with the Switch, that Nintendo Labo. I personally think that was kind of a scam. I mean, it's just cardboard. I got to be honest, you know, but for the amount of money that they charged for it, but it's cool that they do that kind of stuff. They always find, um, um, they always find the most interesting ways to utilize their hardware. So it's kind of a telltale sign. If you don't see a whole lot of add-ons for a Nintendo system, it's probably one of the ones that's not doing so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the Switch, they already have that. Again, just out of reach up there. But you can get the NES controllers Bluetooth official. You can get the SNES controllers Bluetooth official. You can get that Pokeball that is basically a Joy-Con, but it operates like it's just a circle with a couple of buttons on it to play with Pokemon Go, but actually play with
You can get yourself a Game Boy fanny pack in box.
and that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah, I got them for you guys.
He's got one each to the side for us.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
You know, one thing that I will say that I noticed about the Wii U was like you've got PS2 that's got a huge game library, but I didn't really notice a lot of filler titles for the Wii U. It just seemed like a lot of the games were quality titles. Like I know
Well,
they're
you guys,
obviously
sorry, you guys had said before you were asking what the North American game count was, the title count. It was 166, which is low by any standard.
Insanely
right?
low for sure.
And I remember always seeing on the shelf. I can't remember. I don't exactly remember why I bought my Wii U at first, but I do know that I got Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. I bought
Giant
Deus
Tiger
Ex.
Special.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
It is.
Or at least it is better than the original release of Ninja Gaiden 3. And then I got Deus Ex Human Revolution, the director's cut. Mighty Number 9. Yeah, I notice it's sealed because you've never played it because it was terrible.
I have it on pretty much every system, and the seal is like it's really bad. Like it's starting to peel, and but
I got it. I know that I got it for the Zelda remasters, like Twilight Princess and
Wind
Waker, and then Breath of the Wild, right?
Yep.
So the extra like the ported games that they brought out for it, where they added the extra functionality because of the tablet, was kind of like a bonus, right? And you're right. I don't recall seeing a whole lot of filler. Not like the Wii U had or the original Wii had all kinds of like just bunk games on it.
But the thing with
like
the Wii though is
shovelware.
they were trying different games out to match with the remote and the nunchucks, where
they just threw everything at that thing.
All these crappy boxing games and like this, I think it's called Chicken Shoot, where it's like Duck Hunt, but you're shooting chickens and you're hitting them with their own eggs.
Yeah,
like forced cannibalism.
Yeah.
But there's Chicken Shoot, and then there's a Chicken Blast as well. Like someone had to copy the copy, like like.
Hey, can I borrow your homework? Yeah, but just make sure you don't copy it word for word. Okay, Chicken Shoot, Chicken Blast.
Yeah, it had some good ones on it. But I have like Endless Ocean. I have Chicken Little, Ace in Action, Karaoke Revolution, Raving Rabbids, which actually was good. Harvest Moon, like it's got some good stuff.
Raving Rabbids is a fun series too, but.
Yeah. I never tried the Mario one that they released for the Switch.
Oh man, it's a great game.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I hear. A lot of people were like, it was weird because I was watching it at E3 or whatever, the year that they released it, and people were like stupid excited for it, and I was like, what? Like, really? This is your big reveal? And after that, it went on to sell like gangbusters. So I guess a lot of people really liked it. Shows what I know.
No, it really is fun. Again, but again, you're taking Mario and you're playing him in like a tactical, turn based. Like it's bonkers, but it's silly fun. Yeah, no, it really does. It really does. No, like you said, that the one thing about the Wii U, like the whole point of this again is that it failed. It crashed. But support was a big thing. People dropping out, like the bricking at the beginning, a lot of bad news coming out. I think the core of it, and Nintendo pretty much has kind of admitted this too, was twofold. The naming convention was terrible, and again, we joke about it with Xbox. Like, what are they doing? Series X, Series S, 1X, 1X. Like,
I'll be honest, I am a Microsoft guy. Like I have been with Xbox since the very first one. And even I am like, what are you guys doing? Like at this generation now, it has become generally confusing.
Yes.
Series S, Series X, and all that kind of stuff because of the 1X.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the Xbox One was just a weird convention, being the third one in, and then like you said, then you deviate to 1S, 1X, and then you tried it again. It's bad. But the Wii U, they said, like, one of the highest
Mm,
selling consoles of all time with the Wii. So the next one now with HD, and we're gonna have newer versions of Mario Kart and all this stuff. It's going to be awesome, and they did not convince people. Again, you had aunts, uncles, grandparents,
Yeah.
everybody buying a Wii. That's what made it sell like stink.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
PS2, its major seller at the time was, well, I can go ahead and spend, hundreds of dollars on a DVD player, or equivalency is buy, almost as buy a DVD player and
Oh,
play a couple games on it.
that's a whole that Blu-ray player in the PS2 is a whole other wormhole. Oh man.
Oh,
Like
on
it's a
three, yeah.
whole
Yeah. No, but the
yeah.
the DVD of PS2, that was a huge push. But
Yeah.
with the Wii just being like, people laughed ridiculously, be saying like, look at, like, everyone's moving forward. You're taking a GameCube and adding wiggle controllers. Like, this is never gonna sell. Like, what are you doing? And then it took off. Everybody
Yeah.
played Wii Sports and said, holy cow!
Because
Like,
you could play it because it was fun to play. Because it was
yes,
lots of casual games and people didn't have to know all the like backstory or the lore of all these games. Like was it not Mario Golf? I remember there was a golf game where you had like a golf club, and then there was a fishing game with, and people who were not regular gamers would play the Wii U because it wasn't like playing video games, it was playing the Wii U.
yeah. Even like Brad was saying, like, everybody's starting, or like, by the time the Wii U came out and you actually have like HDMI, like, this isn't 2005 when the original Xbox came out and didn't. Like, people were starting to adapt this, so now it was getting harder to put light gun games on there. But by
Mm-hmm.
being able to use like Wiimotes and stuff like that, you could actually already achieve that. Like, the main thing about it was not re-triggering that install base, because you didn't convince them why they needed this. And a lot of people thought, well, I'm going to pay a few $100s to buy this tablet to use with my current Wii. No, no, no,
Yeah.
we don't need that, and not realizing it's a whole other console all on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Plus the
really, really sunk them, I think, right off the beginning.
the Wii too, like also had like it had ports for GameCube controllers, and not only GameCube controllers, it had ports for GameCube memory cards. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of backwards compatibility. There was a lot of respect for the amount of money that people had just sunk into their GameCube libraries that was paid attention to, and which instantly made that really popular. And then, like you said, people already thought that this was an extension of the Wii, and then to be told, no, 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 it's a different system, and it costs $400, and you
Yeah,
can't play, you can't play your old mini discs on it.
yeah,
Then they're like, well, why am I bothering then?
that's right.
So we've on this, just on this one, we've got just over 6 minutes, but one, and then we'll come back. But one thing that I noticed, like, yeah, the Wii U had, they had a pretty good like online presence. Not
Mm-hmm.
like how we were talking, like the next one we're going to talk about is the strategy guides with Play Online and that fiasco, because that's a whole other story. But
Oh my god.
um the like the online, playing online with the Wii U was awesome. Like we would always jump on, my daughter and I would jump on and play Mario Kart. Um, but one thing that I noticed that was really lacking from the Wii U, and it's almost like it was just an afterthought, was like, you've got PS Now, you've got Game Pass. There wasn't really anything for the Wii U, like
No.
in terms of being able to download games. Like, you got the Nintendo store on the Switch now where you can get NES games and all this stuff. Like, yes, there
Yeah, but
was
they
it
didn't
per
start the
se.
Nintendo store until
No, I
the
know, but
3DS
like
though, eh?
like,
Was
no,
it
it wasn't
3DS?
until the Switch, the 3DS Switch was the Nintendo store. But like what I'm saying is, like, I was able to download Mario RPG using the Wii's absolutely horrible point system. 5,000 points was $50. Like, it was a stupid points thing, but they kind of like just skipped over the Wii U. Like, you could still get stuff online, but like there was just no real app, I guess, that you could just go into and say, yeah, I'll do this. Like, how you got like the PlayStation Network where you have to have an account if you want to. Was there anything for the Wii U? Because I never saw anything.
I
It,
don't
it
think so. I
It
Never
was
messed
there, but not in that same presence. They started to get in later, like you could get Earthbound. I think there was even a couple of DS games that you could actually get because again, you could use the tablet as your bottom screen and
hmm
upper, but it it didn't really they didn't really go after it. And I know that was one of the things because like you were saying, Brad, like on the Wii, that was absolutely massive. Like you had the Xbox Live Arcade stuff like that, but like on the Wii, they actually got into like Sega Genesis. You can get
Hmm.
TurboGrafx games. You can start to get
hmm
some Neo Geo games. They just had partnerships all over, and you could rebuy and get into these games. And some people really hail the Wii as being the guy that kind of brought you back into retro games because people are like, geez, I haven't played this for original Mario. Sure, I'll buy it. Like, just
Yeah.
things like that were available. Even N64 games are on there. And usually those, are notoriously hard to emulate, but they were able to play them, download them and play them right on your Wii. So
hmm
that was one thing, but the Wii U was really lacking in that for sure.
I don't even know how long the Wii U was out. Like, what was the lifespan of that system between the point when it was released and the point when it actually like officially died?
I'll check right now.
Yeah, I don't remember launch, but basically, uh,
I don't remember it being out all that long.
no, Breath of the Wild was definitely like the kind of,
Yeah.
well, Nintendo's final, anyways.
And you know what? People like, I remember reviewers like putting the Switch version up against the Wii U version. And I've seen the Switch version and it is a little bit prettier, but I got to be honest, like, man, I played the absolute hell out of the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild and it played awesome. I never had any performance issues that I would call game breaking, or even they weren't even bothers. Like they just scaled everything down a little bit. They scaled down the post processing stuff like particles and shadows and stuff like that. And that game ran like a top. Like it was awesome. That made me dust off my Wii U and like keep it out for a couple of months.
So
Um,
just to it launched November 18th, 2012, and it was discontinued worldwide January 31st, 2017. So just over 5 years.
uh, yeah, but I 2017.
So it
Yeah,
says,
but when were the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One launched?
well,
Because I
and this
feel
is
like
this is what it says. It says that Nintendo's eighth generation console was main competition was Microsoft Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That
yeah,
doesn't
exactly. And they were released in like 2014 or something. Like
PS4 was released on November, literally a year later, and
yeah,
the Xbox I want to say was done on
pretty
a
close to
week
that.
later, a week after
Yeah.
the PS4.
Yeah, so even though it went until 2017, it got smoked a year into its life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, like those other systems were so much more powerful than the Wii U. And but the thing is that while the Wii had lots to offer against the 360 and the PS3, the Wii U couldn't hold a candle to those other two systems. It just everything that it was getting seemed like they were ports of last generation's games, which were upgraded, and that was good, you know. And they had the that system came standard with the HDMI cable, but the, to be honest, like I didn't, it wasn't even on the radar until Breath of the Wild came out again.
New Super Mario Bros. U with full HD, awesome power-ups, and extreme challenges. It'll have you finding any way to win.
How do we reach the star coin?
You make a staircase of boost blocks.
And the boost star?
Fill up the star meter.
And the...
And the secret exit? Find a hidden vine.
New Super Mario Bros. U, proud sponsor of the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Available only on Wii U.
All right, so welcome back. We are going to be on now our second part of what made the Wii U a failure. And while we were just talking offline, I was just seeing if there were any Wii U commercials, and the first 50 things that showed up were I'll bring it up again. Is what went wrong with the Wii U, 6 minutes of cringe-worthy Wii U commercials. Like, so I got to see what these videos are, because like if it's anything like those old American commercials where it's like the guy's sitting down and he's got the bowl of chips like this and he leans forward to get his drink and they fall everywhere and he's like,
Put tiny hot dogs on a plate, grill, or other cooking device. Because of their round shape, they roll all over the place, and many end up on the ground. What a waste!
like if it's something like that, then yeah, I could see
No,
like
that's Sega's ads from the 90s. You want to talk about cringeworthy, man? They were bad.
no,
bad,
the cringiest one has to be the Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo. The two white kids are like, Legend of Zelda, like they're doing this rap, and it's like, what are you doing?
beatboxing, yeah.
Okay, so one thing, like obviously the biggest accessory going back to this was the actual tablet itself, because there's one game that actually we're talking about pickups that we're going to be getting from Mike, northerngameexpo.com, is the Wii U. I think it's called Wii U Club. So it's like a sports game, and you use the tablet, and so it sets it up like if you're golfing, there's like a tee that's in the thing, and you use your Wii controller to actually use the golf club, and you actually have to swing it across the tablet without scratching it, because we talked about how expensive it is to replace that. But it seems like it's like they really did try, and they get an A for effort, but they get a F minus. We're gonna go there. I'm gonna go there and say F minus. I mean, it's not that it was a bad system. Like, it's just it was
wrong time, man.
It was the wrong time to introduce what they wanted to do. And actually that's one of the things I was really skeptical about the Switch was, oh man, like they learned nothing with this tablet, and then here we are. The only real difference is you can put your controllers on the side of this tablet, and like I called it the Wii U 2 for the longest time, just to get people going. The Wii 2, Me Too, whatever you want to call it. But it actually like they took everything from like that was awesome about the Wii, tried to duplicate it with the Wii U per se, which then went on to the Switch, which I would say I'm gonna say that the Switch is probably did it just pass the PS2 as the best selling console of all time now?
I'm not sure. That thing has really taken off though. I'll be honest, the reason I wasn't an early adopter of it was because I saw shades of the Wii U in the Switch. I thought, oh, it's just another gimmicky Nintendo system, you know what I mean? Like, it looks almost like a Switch, just with some colorful sides, and I didn't expect them to take the angle that they took with it. But then, they rolled the dice, they hedged all their bets on this thing, they put all their eggs in one basket because they discontinued the 3DS. They're like, well, this thing is handheld, we don't need the 3DS anymore, now we go down to the 2DS, downgrade and phase it out. Now we've got the Switch. We're just dealing with the Switch, so they consolidate, and and you can see their game plan of consolidation with the fact that Bravely Default the Switch, right? That was a 3DS. Started its life as a 3DS title, which was awesome. But yeah, it seemed like it was just going to be more of the gimmicky of the same. And then at the beginning, they had that massive issue with the Joy-Con drift on the left stick, which I still think that they haven't solved. And the system's overheating when they were docked, and there was quality problems. And I got to tell you, like, I've handled a Switch, and it just still feels cheap to me. I still have a hard time with the quality of the build and the materials used. But it has really taken off. A lot of people really like it, and I don't know why the Wii flopped so hard when the Switch actually, managed to grow wings and fly.
Well, it was really just like I remember when the Wii U was in its prime per se, like when it was in the middle of its lifespan, let's say.
Yeah.
let's course correct that. But there was articles like people being in an airport, like laid over, but sitting there with their Wii U, because unlike your PS3 or your 360, this was portable to a degree. You could
Yeah.
literally pack like I can go and play this theoretically anywhere
Yeah.
without a television.
You just need to
And
plug it into the wall.
that's right. So in this case, there was people, like they'd show people leaning up against the wall somewhere, plugged in, and just sitting there and grinding out a game. So they took that and just said, okay, well, instead of having a screen that whatever Bluetooth or near field communication, like over to the console itself, what if we put the console in with the tablet? And so that
Yeah.
was like, now you bring it with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
But instead of just making it a handheld, let's reverse it so you can actually expand the connectivity to a television. We're not actually increasing the hardware or anything. We just made a proprietary way for you to launch it onto the television on go. And for that, it actually works extraordinarily well. You just plug it in and boom, it's on your television. So
Yeah.
kudos to them for that. But that was kind of their way of course correcting. And it was pretty sad too, because president at the time, who unfortunately passed away, that was, he had seen,
Satoru Iwata.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had really seen this through and wanted it to take off. Now he knew, I think, where the next generation was going to go with the Switch, but unfortunately didn't live through to see it come out and have the success it has, and unfortunately passed during the lifespan of the Wii U. However,
Yeah.
he did also oversee the 3DS, so I mean,
Yeah.
that had it came and saw its detractors and had a soft start as well, the original 3DS, but again took down the Vita and saw its way through to
It's
success
funny,
there.
actually. Nintendo has been led by a whole myriad of different people, but they have had more gamer presidents than, well, I think anybody else. I mean, Satoru Iwata was a gamer from his youth. You know what I mean? He loved games. And it showed. It showed with the technology that they came out with, and I think he really believed in the Wii U. And I'm pretty sure I watched a video on him not that long ago, and he was really disappointed when it didn't come out. And I think he actually, if I'm not getting my wires crossed here, he actually took a pay cut because of the Wii U's falling below projected sales or something. That guy like really stood behind his products. He was
Yeah.
and it's a real shame. A lot of people actually really liked him.
Yeah,
So,
no, I believe I'd heard the same. And again,
yeah.
he, I think Balloon Kid was one of his original programming creations on the NES, and of course it got ported over to, or what's it
Balloon
called?
Fight.
Balloon Fight, pardon. Yeah,
Yeah.
Balloon Kid was the Game Boy kind of version of it, but yeah, Balloon Fight was his. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I heard that of course about the pay cut and everything as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, like you said with the peripherals, the one thing they really tried to get right and really hoped to push was the love of this. Everybody knows that Melee was huge. Brawl did pretty well on the Wii, and of course you could connect to your controller with the Wii on the Nintendo Wii. So when the Wii U came, they wanted to definitely make sure you could get that connector, plug it into your USB and utilize it there. And in fact, this also does work on the Switch as well. But yeah, that was one of the peripherals, kind of like for the time the peripheral everybody was seeking, because they wanted to make sure you could play. No one wanted to play with the tablet,
No,
but
I don't doubt it.
but to be able to play with your GameCube, of course. And there really wasn't many games that supported the GameCube controller after that. They kind of just, should we allow it? And they just axed it, like,
Yeah.
go buy a Pro controller.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to play GameCube, go and buy a GameCube.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why don't you still have your GameCube? Are you not a loyal Nintendoite?
We can track you.
That's right.
I will say though that console, like as much as I dislike the tablet, I like the idea behind it. And maybe they just didn't go far enough. So the Switch was like the natural evolution of that system. But I have the console in black, and I will say that console, for the simple design of it, is one of the sexiest consoles it's just something about it, something about the soft corners and the real nice simple design, the simple like front end of it, the nice blue power light. Like visually, it's an attractive console, because I've seen some friggin' ugly ones, and I feel like that's something worth mentioning, because the PlayStation 5 is a horrendously ugly piece. Like that thing is friggin' ugly. And I will level the same criticism at the Xbox X, Series X, One X, whatever it is. It looks like a friggin' fridge. Like it doesn't look like it would fit well anywhere under your TV, like a set top box. It doesn't really fit anywhere. But I remember thinking specifically when I set my Wii up on my TV there and I had left it there, I was like, man, this thing is nice. It's sleek. It fits in there real nice. Doesn't have a huge footprint. Doesn't take up a lot of room, and it's a little bit longer. But I never had a problem with like airflow or overheating or anything. So it's not much, right? But when you're talking about a system that failed, you got to give it all the marks that you can. So I would say that console is definitely, it's a good looking console.
And
Well,
like I just Googled like other reasons that the system can fail, and it's actually one thing that our three brilliant minds combined couldn't think of, but is the audience base. Like when the Wii U came out, like I'm not looking to go essentially to a kiddie system. And that was the problem with the Wii, even the Wii to an extent. Like, yeah, the Wii U had like launched with Zombie U, but they're like I'm more of like mature, but like that's what it was. PlayStation and Xbox were geared more towards us, and that's how they marketed it. And the Wii U almost right off the bat like made it almost seem like they were targeting tweens,
A more mature. Oh yeah.
less
You think
like
so?
the younger audience, like with all their games. Like after the Wii came out, like I was over the gimmick controllers and stuff, and like obviously with the Switch and everything now it's come back but done right. But the Wii U, it was targeted more towards the younger crowd.
Yeah.
And
I think
parents,
Nintendo has traditionally always done that, though. They've always
it
gone for
is,
the
but
family.
the Switch seemed like there's something about the Switch that hit all the right notes with our age demographic for games. Whether
I think
it's
that
that they ported all these games over that we grew up with, or they had the Nintendo store that was finally done properly.
Yeah, I would say
Um,
it's got to do with the fact that the Nintendo store has finally come through an evolution where it's at a point now where retro gaming is huge, and people with money are retro gamers, and they can get all of those games on this system.
yeah,
Like that,
instead of spending $10,000 on stadium events, even though that's not ever going to see the light of day again, but
whatever. I got legit edition, man. I'm
you
good.
do.
It plays a lot like Wheel of Fortune, but whatever. It's cool.
no, I understand what you're saying. I can't say I fault them for that swing
No,
though. Even it's a
exactly.
swing and a miss, because like look, the Wii was like their biggest selling console of all time, and they started that based on family, all ages, everybody can
Yeah.
play. Like it's the main problem with that. Like even like the GameCube, like your little console, you got your little
Yeah.
handle, you can bring it around. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's it's all about the support. And when they tried to really ham fist in there, like you have to use the tablet, guys, you have to integrate
That's
the
what I'm
tablet.
reading right now too.
That was
Yeah.
where people quickly quit it. And like even like Breath of the Wild and stuff, like, oh, okay, so I can just go ahead and like, no, we killed it. We don't want to report. We're just porting the Switch edition. We're not going
Mhm.
to make it anything special here. Like
Well,
when you
that
first saw
game actually started its life as a Switch game, as
yes,
a Wii U game,
yes.
Last cycle.
and there was a lot of talk about that because the Sheikah Slate, that thing that you carry around that lets you see everything, or whatever, was originally modeled after the Wii U tablet.
Yes.
And then they changed it to model it after the Switch, and they took out some of the functionality of it. But you had to use it in the dungeons for the puzzles, for the accelerometer puzzles. But you could use, like, I use the Pro controller for all of the overworld stuff, all the
Right.
combat and everything. So you had to have it if you wanted to do the dungeons. That's for friggin' sure. And that sucked. It sucked to have to, okay, now I gotta pull it out, go get it, bring it. And, the connectivity was pretty easy though, so it wasn't that bad. But still, just the fact that you had to go and get it. I would walk into a dungeon and I would see that little tablet symbol on one of the plinths there, and I'd be like, fuck, here we go again. Is it charged?
Yeah.
See, and sorry, what were you about to say, Adam?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I remember when I first saw it myself, and I think it was like maybe Pikmin 3 or something was one of the demos, and like it literally saying on the screen, like, look down, and like, wait, what? And then like playing on the tablet, it's like, look up now, and I'm like, what's going,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like it was jarring at first, but
Yeah.
it became so quick natured. Like even Zombie U wanted to really stress the real time, like, look what we can do because of this two screen game we have going here. So like you are on the run, the zombies are coming, you're shooting, but when you need to pick a lock or you want to change your inventory, you don't pause the game and then go through stuff, you do it live on the screen.
Yeah.
But if that means you're getting mauled at the time while you're trying to reload or dig out your herbs or whatever, like, you die. Like there's no
Yeah.
stopgap on, like, there's it's real time stuff. So that was some of the ambitious stuff, but again, like I said, the other people looked at that and just like, no, I don't want to. I can take minimal stuff to port my PS3 sometimes, the architecture is different, but like I can take my base game and use it from PS3 to Xbox 360, and now I have to integrate all this tablety stuff. Like you said at the beginning, people did. Like we said before, Ubisoft was really strong with that. Batman Arkham City,
Yeah.
the Arkham edition, he has like the bat gloves,
The gauntlets,
and
yeah.
they power up, and then there's times you can push the screen and they release an extra boost and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
cool ways to reutilize the technology in there,
Yeah.
but people quickly gave up on it. The only people that kind of kept it going was Nintendo. Before you guys were saying like Xenoblade playing like on the tablet, I remember when I bought Hyrule Warriors, again bringing that up from last week, but playing that with a chum and finding like there's no split screen. One player plays on the tablet and the other player, you can play with the nunchuck or you can play with the Pro controller, gets the television to themselves. So that's how the two of us played. Like one of us played independently there and one of us had the television. And we played through the whole game like that. But
Yeah.
it was kind of a unique experience to do it that way. You're also playing on like a 7-inch screen and I'd have like the 55-inch, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was weird, but it was, again, just kind of neat. And but forcing that into people's hands
Well,
was
and
really a bad tactic.
that's the other, like, so again, I'm just reading off here, and like a lot of people in the industry are actually saying that, all jokes aside, like we joke about the Virtual Boy being the gimmick, they're actually saying that the Wii U is Nintendo's greatest failure. So, I mean, that says a lot considering what's behind you actually gave people seizures just seeing red all the time. But another main issue with the Wii U was the price. Like, yeah, $299 for the base thing didn't seem like a lot, but you, unlike Sony and Microsoft and all that, like, you got a controller. This thing, you got a tablet. But hey, again, this is where Nintendo capitalizes because they know people are going to need it. You want a Pro controller? Okay, that's $50. You want 4 people to be able to play Smash Brothers? Okay, there's 51, 152. So right off the bat, before you even buy the game, you want 4 controllers. You're now up to $499, which is the cost of a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox, which have better graphics. They had better, actually, no, they didn't have better launch titles, but as they went on, they got better and better. And then Nintendo came out with the deluxe edition, like you were showing, for $349 that included a digital game. Again, I'm a collector. Digital means nothing to me, but that's what it was. But it was so expensive, and then factoring in you crack the screen, you have to send it in. Your Nintendo's not paying for your shipping, you're paying to ship that thing on your own.
Yeah.
So whatever that cost, thankfully, like my system, I haven't, touch wood, cracked anything on it or anything like that, but it did add up quite a bit to where it cost more to own that than it did the other two systems.
Yeah. The exorbitant cost of that tablet controller ensures that nobody would ever make a third-party version of it. You know, there's so many moving parts that went into that thing. Like, it was an awesome controller. And I mean, if you think about it, like, there's no way that they could have really designed it ergonomically any better. The sticks had to go on the outside of the screen, you know, like, because if they would have come up with something better, they would have come up with it when they designed the Switch, right? But it's really, if you want to have the screen on there and you want to have it that size, that's really all you can do. You can't have the sticks close together and have the screen here, because the thing would always be trying to tip out of your hand, right? So
That's right.
So for what they were trying to do, they did it the best that they could. Unfortunately, it was just not a very friendly and not very friendly in that way. And then, like you said, the system was underpowered compared to the other two current generation systems at the time. So any port that they brought over would have to take a hit on, like, graphics and performance wise. The only way that they could offset that was to add these little things like the Batman gloves or the Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge character editions. But at that same time, you're still dealing with the graphical downgrade. And by the time these people had, like, the developers had the time to add all this stuff, the other two systems had already, like, gone through those games, enjoyed them. They were done. They weren't even current anymore. There was already something new on the horizon. And now you're playing this older port with inferior graphics and these new mechanics. And yeah, seemed like it was kind of a recipe for disaster.
One of the other things there, Brad, that you mentioned with the deluxe console, just, you know, we see it today, like some of these variant editions, but the time, like, even at that standard, you knew 8 gigs on a base console was not going to get you much. And even at 32 was still, you know, as much as I love the console, I had to buy an external port. That one thing that they did to try and keep people going was carrying on the Club Nintendo program, and also a lot of kind of giveaways and stuff. Like, if you bought the 2 Hyrule Warrior editions, you got a free Ganon costume out of it. If you got or Ganon himself, sorry, it was a skin for him. But then there was other things, like, I know I have Wind Waker on my base console simply because I purchased the game, and then they were like, okay, you can pick one of these 3 games. I have Wario on there. I have Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I'm not a digital game guy, but I have all those games on my base console simply because they were given to me from
I
Nintendo.
take them when I can get them free.
Sure. And that's what I mean. Like, this wasn't because I subscribed to any other Plus program or anything. This was simply because I was taking the games, registering them, and sometimes, like, I know when they really wanted to push Mario 8, I believe, like Mario Kart 8, I think there was actually some form of a promo there where you could actually, like, get, like, one of the previous titles. But because of all that, even just loading in those 3-4 titles there, starting to download and keep all the updates for Smash Brothers, even though I didn't buy all the extra characters and all that stuff, just to be able to play online, you of course have to keep downloading all the patches and getting the character profiles and stuff on your console. Like, I had to go and buy an external drive for it, like, undoubtedly.
Can you? I didn't even know you could install an external drive on the Wii U.
Yes.
But I know that the Switch is the same thing too. Like, what's the maximum memory card size you can get for a Switch? It's like 32 gigs, isn't it?
Well, that's the base, like, that's what's available on the system itself. But I honestly don't know, like, size wise what you can get.
Yeah, but you're talking about, like, the other two systems, like they're coming now. I think the PlayStation 5 and current Xbox are shipping with 1 terabyte
Which
hard
is
drives,
nothing.
which is now nothing. Yeah. for those like little tiny rinky dink Nintendo games, like you're talking about like 4 meg cartridges, like that'll last a while. But you start getting into the bigger stuff, or you start getting into the more ambitious ports. Um, they're going to have to either run everything from the card, or you're going to need a hard drive to install on.
Well,
And
that's even like Switch doesn't have Call of Duty Cold War, which, like people said, takes up like 400 gigs on
yeah, because you
your
just physically
1
cannot.
terabyte system. Exactly.
Yeah, like
But even if you could, again, they still put out a base model of Switch with 32 gigs. Like they
Yeah,
didn't even
that's what I
entertain
mean.
500. Like it's wild that they still continued that trend, but
I know.
they're
That's what I
selling.
mean. Like,
So
I know, and that's the other thing too. It's like, yeah, like Brad was saying, like, oh, it looks like they aimed for the kiddie, or they aimed for the family or whatever. But I feel like Nintendo's that's been their strategy for the last little while. They've been like, okay, Microsoft and Sony are fighting the good fight in the West. Sony is killing it for the mature gamers in Japan, and Nintendo has everybody else.
yeah.
Like they take everybody. They take old ladies, they take young kids, babies, they take anybody who comes along, you know what I mean? Nintendogs, right? Nintendo cats. Like they will take, you want to play a game, they've got a game for you that you can play. They don't worry about. It's funny because they have been historically conservative in a lot of ways, but in other ways they seem like they're willing to try anything. Like they will have a machine be a complete failure and just be like, all right, well, moving on, and just keep kind of soldiering on. But I think that's because they have their own demographic, and as long as they are satisfying that, they're happy, and they'll
I
keep going.
and I think to that note that you said, like they've always, like you said, been very conservative, kind of. I don't want to necessarily say safe plays. Like they do experiment with their hardware, but the
Mhm.
software is where they've kind of been restrictive. And now the fact that they've even partnershiped with like more or less like third parties like Limited Run in order to help produce games. They're still making the carts, but they're still partnering with them to make sure that indie titles, like they're pushing titles. That was the main thing with the Wii U. They supported it. They tried to put out a new, at least Nintendo game once every 6 months. Even if you got like Star Fox Zero didn't do fantastic, or like I
No.
said before, even
That Wii
that
U though, the Star Fox Zero, didn't they force motion controls with that one too? Because I
yes.
was sort of looking forward to that one, and then I heard that everywhere I read, it just said that the controls were awful.
Yeah, and that
Or
was
it
kind
was
of the
because
problem there.
sorry, it was because you had to look down at the screen. It's a jet fighting, star fighting, like dog fighting game, but you're constantly looking down at the screen and up at the
Yeah.
TV, and it's just robbing you of joy, I guess.
Yeah. Well, again, oversimplifying something that, you can't transpose everything, unless you're actually building like a $3,000 cockpit to actually like get inside and fight. Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, like again, with even some of the items here, like it's really just about making them fun. And when
Mhm.
they lost all third party support, again, that was similar to the Nintendo 64. One of the main reasons why this didn't do as hot as its like competition was that was arguably with the cartridges and everything else. But once they started to lose that third party support, there was
Yeah.
just no games, and that was the big thing off the bat. So when the Switch came out, everybody, oh, where's the games? Where's it just launched? Where's the games? It's got no
Yeah.
games. And you heard that for the first 6 months of the
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
launch.
exactly.
And now, like, it's like I started buying the limited run ones, and I had to just like wean myself out because like they're just putting out chronic ports all the time.
Mhm.
Everybody and anybody is just producing a game and putting it on the shop and getting it out there. And they're not all bad. Like we're not back to the Wii again, where it's just like a bunch of being dumped like swamp games on there. Like
Yeah.
they're all like a lot of good titles.
Mhm.
So I think we're just about out of time, and like I think we've hit everything on the head about what was wrong with
Stop!
the
I
system.
can't do this anymore, guys.
Yeah. I love
But-
you.
I love you, Wii U. But I like we've actually got a couple exciting episodes coming up. I just wanted to touch base quickly because I've been asked by some people. Next weekend, I wasn't going to be able to record, but I am now because Sudbury went into the gray zone. Thanks a lot, Clayton. So
Yeah.
my kids can't go and see my parents. But anyways, so next weekend, I think we're talking about the demise of the walkthroughs and like game guides.
Oh yeah.
And then the following week, I reached out. Finally, I got not Keanu Reeves, Clayton. Don't get excited. I reached out to Jane Perry, who actually voices Diana from Hitman. And I want to get her on the show to talk about Cyberpunk because she actually does play Rogue, which in Cyberpunk Red, Rogue has such a huge like presence. Now obviously it's a tabletop game, so she's not physically involved with that, but just to get her experiences on what it was like, how she got into character and all this stuff. And then I've also got Jamie Perron from Raven Software, who's going to be coming on in about a month to talk about what he does with Ravensoft. And for the people who attended the Game Expo 2 years ago now, he did a panel talking about Call of Duty because he's been heavily involved with the Call of Duties. He was involved with the Golden. I want to say, sorry, not GoldenEye. The one that came out with Daniel Craig on the.
Quantum of Solace.
That's right. He was involved with that one. He's been involved with every Call of Duty since Modern Warfare. So just to get his perspective on what he does, because he is the only Canadian who is part of that team. Everybody else works down in the States. He is the only one who is able to work from home, way away from everything. So
From the team,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. And Adam, if you want to come on, if we can get Miss Perry down, I mean, you guys would have to brush up on Cyberpunk. You'll have to start playing it, Clayton. Also, a little bit of backstory on the character Rogue. She is Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand's on-off lover in the game. So it's kind of interesting. So I want to ask her if they ever recorded together. I guess not. It might have been recorded before, but what he's like, if she can get me his information. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not stalking, I swear. But it's going to be fun, and I'm excited. I'm rejuvenated after Adam's 2-hour rant about how to improve everything, and
Just pumping you up.
yeah, exactly. So
Just
I'm
easing the
excited.
tension, baby. Just easing the tension.
I'm excited to see where we go with the next couple weeks. So buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Beauty.
All right. Thanks, guys. And yeah, it'll be the three of us next weekend as well for the walkthrough guide chats. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone, and have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
See you soon.